Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here. You know who it is. Hope you're doing well. Doing a video about the platinum status of Jay-Z's new album 444, which was announced yesterday on the Tidal Twitter account approximately excuse me, I don't know why I'm getting ridiculous. Approximately at 9:19 a.m. So I saw this on my Twitter feed yesterday and I was like, okay, I mean that's cool. I didn't really think too much about it, but then when I actually started to put like some thoughts into what exactly is going on here, I was like, wait, how? Because this album is not available for sale. It is only streaming on Tidal right now, and that's it. And since nobody can buy a copy, and on top of that, I know this thing did not get enough streams on Tidal alone to reach platinum status. How did this get platinum status? Does not make sense. What's going on? So, here we also have a picture of Jay-Z with his new record Plaque over here. New Plaque. I think it's just the cover. Isn't there supposed to be a record in here? I don't think they printed one, so I don't think there can be a record. But whatever. He'll it's his 13th one, so he'll probably just use it as a coaster at this point. But that being said, back down here in this image, I just want to ask you, what is wrong with this picture? Why is this platinum? I mean, what is wrong with this picture aside from the fact that down here it says, as the albums that are listed that have gone platinum for Jay-Z, it says Magna Carta Holy Grail, which I'm pretty sure it's just Magna Carta Holy Grail. I've never heard anyone call it Magna Carta Holy Grail. I do know Jay-Z's name is Sean Carter, so maybe that's like some kind of self-reference there, and maybe people who are only in the know call the album Magna Carta Holy Grail. But that does seem like a typo. Educate me if I'm wrong. Educate me, please. But that being said, how did this get platinum status? I could think nefariously here and assume that maybe Jay-Z and Tidal, they're cooking the books a little bit. They told the Recording Industry Association of America, hey, we got all these streams. It's all in-house. We got all the streams. Here you go, platinum. But most likely that is not really what happened. As some of you may know, this record was released in promotion with the Sprint Corporation, and what probably happened was that they bought a ton of copies in the same way that Samsung bought a ton of copies when Samsung did a promotion with Magna Carta Holy Grail when Jay-Z dropped that record. So Sprint is most likely who bought all of these copies because there were Sprint users that got easy access to the album, and that's just pretty much it. No further explanation needed. But that being said, it is kind of obnoxious that Jay-Z continues to drop albums in this way, and that he just can't simply just let the album do the numbers that it's going to do. Like, he has to look like the boss no matter what. He has to look like he's winning no matter what, despite the fact that, I don't know, I mean, I think there is power and there is beauty in aging gracefully, understanding that you're not Migos. You know what I mean? Like, those guys are it right now. And despite the fact that they are it, I do like Migos. I doubt that they're ever going to reach such a status where they're putting out as many classics as Jay has over the years, and that's the thing. It's like, why go through this silliness to sort of, pull strings and trick people into thinking that, this album is what it isn't? Because at this point, what do you have to prove? You had one of the greatest runs of any rap artist of all time. You have, even without, Magna Carta and 444, tons of great platinum albums under your belt. You've changed the game and sort of paved the way for so many artists, for so many sounds, for so many years. Like, at this point, you've had your success. You've left your mark on the industry. You don't need to fake a platinum album to convince anybody of anything. And that's the thing. To me, a platinum record is a record that, when you look back on it, was so popular and touched so many people's lives that it becomes over time a little bit of a cultural benchmark, even if, it doesn't age all that well. You at least remember it for, well, that was really popular at that time, and that was like kind of a significant part of popular music history. Now, that doesn't really seem to be the case because Jay-Z, I mean, he's having companies essentially inflate his own record sales, which I know if there was another rapper doing that, like maybe back in the 90s or the 2000s, he would have that person made fun of in a line or a verse or something. He's essentially having his own accolades bought for him, which, Michael Phelps doesn't have as many gold medals as he does because a sponsor paid for him to go faster in a swimming race. Michael Jordan doesn't have as many awards as he does because some sponsor paid for him to put so many points up on the board. Like, they did that of their own volition. They did that with their own strengths, with their own talents, their own abilities. Jay-Z clearly at this point, despite the confidence and despite the comfort that he displays on this new album over here, and I have been listening to a review coming very soon, clearly he has to land these deals to make his numbers look like what they actually aren't. Now, I'm not saying that sort of working with companies like Sprint or Samsung are necessarily a bad thing. Go out there and get your money. But even though it was kind of cute with your last record, you're clearly continually gaming the system in a way that's, I don't know, kind of obnoxious. And I feel like if he continues to do this, he's only going to incentivize other artists to do it. Because while, let's say, an artist like Drake, for example, he does not have the legend status that Jay-Z does, but he definitely has much more mainstream status than a lot of rappers have gained over the years with his abilities to, sort of cross over into the mainstream, into the pop sphere. Who's to say that down the road he couldn't do something like this, which would only add to how annoying this whole process is. The RIAA, they could easily put the kibosh on this. They could easily, put their foot down and say, no, you can't have a platinum album if a multi-billion dollar probably corporation buys a bunch of copies of your album. But, they're not going to. And that's why I can't blame this entirely on Jay-Z, because the music industry loves a facade. The music industry loves to put up a veneer of success over anything and everything that they can. They love to trick the audience into thinking that things are going better than they actually are. Because there are a lot of labels out there that are struggling or losing money because they don't know how to adjust in an age and in a market that is based on streaming, that's based on viral hits, that's based on people just not going into a record store and buying a physical copy of an album. And I get that things like this are kind of a part of the new age, but I don't know, in my opinion, it kind of sullies and it kind of, I guess in a way, delegitimizes the excitement that an artist or an audience member or a fan should have when they see, holy shit, that went platinum. Because this is not really platinum. This is not a platinum status reflective of the actual popularity of the album. And not to say that the album's bad. I don't think it's bad. It's just that this is not really a record that for Jay-Z has a lot of hits on it. This is not a record for Jay-Z that is going to sort of transcend his aging audience and cross over into a new young hip hop audience. That they're not really looking for the sounds presented on this album. Certainly this is in a way a hardcore Jay-Z fans album. This is a thinking man's hip hop record. But this is not like the kind of hip hop record that rules the radio. You know what I mean? Certainly, I'm sure it is getting some radio play, if in fact that's even allowed at this point. I don't know the restrictions, with the whole title thing and all that stuff. But certainly there are some good qualities to the record, but this is not like the sound of the moment. This is not the trend of the week. So it's going to be kind of hard to just throw this kind of record out there and just expect 1 million copies to sell within a week's time. So that being said, it's just kind of unfortunate that this silliness is being attached to what I think is one of Jay's most comfortable and personal projects. In a way, it does kind of sully the album a little bit, but not really. I can easily listen to the album and not think about that it's fake platinum. But still, fake platinum, the idea of that, the concept of that, it's kind of a turnoff. Again, it was cute when it happened on Magna Carta, and now it's just like, I would, considering how good this album is, it makes me interested for more stuff from Jay in the future. But like, is he going to do this every time? Does he got to do this every time? Is every single time he comes out with a record, is some company going to buy 1 million copies just so he can say it's platinum? Again, it just kind of seems like it's a little much.